No, this is not my last video. This is actually a new video, but this is how I started my last video. Because Trump just put Obama on notice. And it's incredible because his entire legacy is about to be demolished. Well, if the Republicans can actually get something through, and I described it. So if you missed my first video, make sure you step back and watch it. If you're on the public platforms, you have to go to Lisa Haven's channel, where I aired my first broadcast. This is my second, because the man on your right, well, is now denying a plan existed that may have existed because it appeared on Defense One. It was a leaked plan about something we've discussed. And it's rather interesting because what it outlines is there was a new world order, except it wasn't led by whoever being anticipated it was going to be led by, because it's being led by the man on your right, just not in the way you anticipated. Rather interesting story. I can't wait to bring it to you in just a few seconds. Also, as I started my last broadcast, but I want to make sure I brought it to you too, just a tragic day yesterday. 2 students dead, 9 wounded after mass shooting at Brown University. The manhunt still underway. The story is developing. We will bring you updates as they are available. The suspect and the videotape here, at time of this recording, still not in custody. That could change by the time the broadcast goes up. Also, the tragic event at Australia's Bondi Beach, 10 dead. This will play in the many stories we're going to cover in the very near future. Our thoughts and prayers are with all these families, on top of the 2 National Guard soldiers identified as now victims of the attack that happened in Syria. The ISIS attack, as it's being outlaid, of course, the attack that HuffPost couldn't seem to get right in their title, Syria attack that the U.S. blames on is not ISIS. Oh no, I'm not letting them off the hook on that one. No way. Ain't happening. Israel, however, on a different note, announced that it has killed one of the architects of the October 7th attack in that screenshot. Just to get you up to speed on some of the news, that man now eliminated. But we're going to move forward because we have many things to cover. I told you more than likely Comey would never see justice, huh? A lot of people upset with me over that. And then the court orders the DOJ to return data seized from Comey's friend, calling it a callous disregard for his rights. And once again, the court working against the Trump administration, hence why I continue to state that we may never see justice in this, or it seems a lot of cases that are going on right now. Did you hear this little ditty?
But none of the camera angles, like behind the RNC, behind the DNC, that we know of that exist today, of where this.
Yeah, we kind of knew those tapes didn't exist. Well, I guess we got another official confirmation. But why is that becoming so critical? Because remember, now we have the alleged suspect in custody, right? The alleged suspect who?
But what I can tell you is that he was always wearing his headphones. He would take his dog out. He'd go to the 7-Eleven. He was very, as you say, low-key, low-profile.
Low-key, low-profile, right? Computer geek with no social media profile. A lot of things not lining up in this story, but there's one unique facet to this story. The area where he lived, several FBI people also lived. Several FBI people now coming out, approaching Thomas Massie saying, hey, you know, this kid lived in our neighborhood. Something's not lining up according to them, of course. Last night I received a disclosure from a new FBI whistleblower regarding the J6 pipe bomb case. This is the 3rd disclosure I've received from current and former employees of the government regarding the pipe bomb case in recent weeks. These brave, moral people could lose their jobs and wreck their careers, but they care deeply for our country. So at the risk of editorializing, I will summarize what I learned from this newest disclosure in order not to disclose the identity of this whistleblower. The community where the suspect was arrested is populated with several employees of the FBI, Secret Service, and police. Many of them have observed the suspect on walks over the years. He wandered around his neighborhood several times a day while walking a dog Other than walking a dog, he doesn't engage in any other activities outside his home. He doesn't interact with anyone. He doesn't wave or acknowledge others or even say hello. He doesn't even look at people when he walks by. He appears to live in his own world. He's never been observed walking around in angry or agitated state. His demeanor is detached and vacant. He's always worn headphones. When walking around the neighborhood, it's possible that he's using headphones to drown out any surrounding noise. He doesn't appear to be interested in anything or even get interested in things that are happening around him. His behavior is awkward. It's obvious he has a mental disability and likely lives in a permanently vulnerable intellectual and emotional state. It's well known that individuals with mental conditions are susceptible to providing inaccurate and unwarranted confessions. He doesn't drive his car very often. Based on the observations of several neighbors, the suspect does not appear to have the mental acumen to plan, prepare, and execute a complex bombing plot by himself. On November 13th, the FBI conducted a surveillance operation on the suspect's street, but the surveillance was easily identifiable to many in the area. Wonder what's going on there. Wonder what Massey's angling at. Not only were neighbors not evacuated during the arrest and search of the alleged the bomber's home, they were required to remain in their homes if the suspect had in fact been engaged in making bombs, and stockpiling bomb materials to proper safety precautions were not taken. My personal conclusion, Tom Massey's, the FBI employee disclosing this information to me doesn't believe the FBI has arrested a person who is capable or motivated or even interested enough in affairs outside of his own small world to execute the J6 pipe bomb plot on his own. End of this thread. A lot more to this story, I believe. And that's just the intro. The more interesting story I want to bring you. You remember I talked about this plan, this civilization erasure plan. You all read it. I read it to you. Gave you all the details. Did you know there was a plan before that was leaked out by Defense One that now all of a sudden the administration's saying, hey, I don't know what this plan is. What are you talking about? That didn't exist. Well, it was a little bit incendiary. I'm going to read what was in that plan and tie it together with what's happening in, well, can we actually believe anything coming out of the CIA, the government, the EU, how it all ties together about a restructuring of who's the good guys and who's the bad guys. Because you have to fit in China, Russia, the EU, NATO, and Trump. And you got to put that all together into a global restructuring. And I'm just going to put a real high level so you understand exactly the non-complexity and complexity of what's happening, because it's going to shape the next 2 years of what we're watching happening. Because I received a comment on one of my videos that, Justice, this is, I think you're making more out of this than there is. Really? Do you really believe that? Do you understand the moving parts associated with what's happening right now? Do you understand that President Trump is not successful in his efforts to dismantle the mechanisms moving around us from all directions? What happens to the Great Republic of the United States of America? Well, I'll tell you exactly what happens here in a moment. And then, please, I challenge you to give me a counterpoint to it. Be careful. Remember, don't ever try to antagonize someone armed with the amount of knowledge that I work at every single day. But I welcome the challenge, and I'm going to answer it in just a few seconds. Before I do, and as I do every day, love you all. Thank you for helping the channel to grow. Do me a huge favor, help me to continue to beat the algorithm. Make sure your bell is checked to all. Make sure you're still subscribed. Make sure if you're new here, welcome home. I'd love you to subscribe. Love all the support you show me. Love you, every one of you who have joined as a member. If you don't have the means, I absolutely appreciate everyone who provides a comment, shares the video, just simply likes the video. All those things make a difference. It shows the machine that you're engaging and that this news matters. And when it sees that, it helps the videos to explode. And that is because of you. Also, what helps me is sponsors who help keep these lights and cameras on. Just like, chapter. Let's talk about something every Medicare viewer needs to know. Because 2026 is shaping up to be another one of those Washington special years. Medicare Part B premiums are rising 10% for 2026. That's $215 a year coming straight out of Social Security checks. The second largest increase ever in dollar terms. And while premiums climb, benefits are shrinking and some plans are disappearing entirely. Come January, a lot of folks are going to find out their new plan doesn't even include the doctors they've relied on for years. Now, here's the curveball. If you chose your 2026 plan using Medicare.gov provider directory, the government admitted there were errors, meaning some people may have signed up for a plan that doesn't actually cover their doctors. Imagine that surprise. The silver lining? You're here today. Because of those inaccuracies, the government is offering affected seniors a chance to switch plans. But figure out whether you qualify. It's not that simple. That's why today's sponsor, Chapter, exists. I'm not a licensed insurance agent. That's not Medicare, and this is not Medicare advice. Chapter is a licensed Medicare professional. I'm simply giving you information you need to stay protected. Chapter offers a free, unbiased consultation. They can review your situation in about 20 minutes, confirm your doctors, and help you understand your options. If you're already on the right plan, they tell you. If not, they'll point you in the right direction. No pressure, no obligation. With a free phone call, 805-619-5011. The sooner you call, the sooner you can make sure your 2026 coverage actually works for you. So again, just call 805-619-5011. How hard is that, huh? Free phone call? Find out today. And they could do it in 20 minutes in most cases. That's the best phone call you're going to make today. Give Chapter a call. But now let's get back to this video. So let's get back to this story. Now, again, no fancy graphics. You know, I don't like to do that. No, I'd rather just get into the heart and soul of this issue. So let's walk through it here. Because when President Trump warns Europe about civilization erasure, most people hear exaggeration. But what if it's not rhetoric? What if it's a strategic warning, not just to Europe, but to the United States? Because this story, it's really not about NATO. It's about who pays for the Western world, who defends it, and who decides what it even stands for anymore. And once you connect the dots between NATO, Brussels, Washington, and the intelligence community, you start to realize this isn't chaos. It's repositioning. And it may be happening faster than anyone wants to admit. So what just happened? It's in Trump's latest national defense and security strategy. The message to Europe was blunt. America will no longer carry the full burden of NATO. Not forever, not automatically, not without accountability. Fairly simple. And buried inside that document was a phrase that set off alarms across Europe: civilization erasure. Not economic decline, not political turbulence, civilization erasure. That language matters because it tells the administration doesn't see Europe's problem as a budget issue. That it sees it as something much, much deeper. Identity, demographics, cohesion, confidence. And when leaked reports surfaced claiming the Trump team was exploring ways to loosen Brussels' grip on individual European nations, the response wasn't calm, it was panic. Even though the administration denied that there was a secret plan, the reaction told us everything we needed to know. So what is Trump really warning us about? Trump isn't warning Europe about invasion. He's warning Europe about weakness. A continent that's outsourced its defense, outsourced its energy, outsourced its manufacturing, and increasingly outsourced its decision-making, low birth rates, mass migration, cultural fragmentation, speech control, political paralysis. From Trump's perspective, that combination produces something dangerous. A partner that expects protection but can't project strength. And in a world moving towards great power competition, that becomes a liability. So when Trump questions NATO, he's not asking, why do we have allies? He's asking, why are we the only ones acting like a superpower? And why are we giving you anything? And that is where the entire debate flips. Because the real question isn't, is Trump abandoning Europe? It's this. Why does the old system need America locked into it forever? Because when institutions panic this hard, it usually means power is shifting. Is he right? Or is something else beginning to happen? Here's the uncomfortable truth. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Europe does have structural problems. Demographics don't lie. Energy dependence matters. Defense readiness matters. But civilization erasure isn't a prediction. It's leverage. This language reframes U.S. policy. It creates justification for stepping back, rebalancing commitments, and shifting focus. And that focus is obvious. All they had to do is listen to Trump's talking points here. The United States is preparing for a different global battlefield. Less endless alliance management, more strategic competition. China, supply chain, technology, resources, the Pacific. Europe isn't being abandoned. Europe is being told the free ride is ending. So who are really the bad guys? That's the toughest question, isn't it? One of the articles I just showed you, the answer actually isn't simple. There isn't a superhero in this movie. There's no clean villains. It's geopolitics. Bad guys aren't defined by interests, not morality. For Trump's administration, the problem isn't Europe. The problem is systems that demand permanent American sacrifice while resisting reform. Institutions that survive by fear, dependency, and narrative control. That includes rivals. And sometimes, uncomfortably, that includes allies. And yes, it comes back home. Because whenever moments like this happen, people ask the same things. Who's pulling the strings? Are intelligence agencies involved in any of this? Here's the reality. There's really no evidence of some coordinated shadow operation driving the NATO drama. But intelligence agencies don't need to run the story. They shape the environment around it. Different branches of government have different priorities: military, diplomatic, intelligence. When those priorities collide, as they are today, things don't look unified. And they don't today. It looks like chaos, as it does today. But chaos doesn't mean conspiracy. It means competition inside our own system, and our system is competing. So this isn't about abandoning allies. It's about refusing to subsidize decline. Trump isn't predicting the end of civilization. He's warning what happens when nations stop defending their own future. The world is changing. The old post-Cold War isn't cracking. And the real question isn't whether America leads the next era. It's whether America is willing to walk away from systems that no longer serve it. Trump's NATO warning isn't reckless. It's strategic. Europe is being told to stand on its own. America is repositioning. And the alliances built for a different century are being stress-tested in real time. But Trump has an internal battle to fight. A conflict. You see, there is, in all reality, an actually new order being defined right now. An order that will reshape the entire world. But it is being led by President Trump. Just not in the way anybody thought it would be. Somebody thought there would be some villainous leader leading the charge over all these governments. Instead, well, it's actually kind of the hero of the story, forcing a reshaping of the entire governmental system of multiple countries in real time before your very eyes. And that is what everyone's missing. Love him or hate him, he is forcing change not only here, but through multiple nations throughout the entire world. He is literally making the world change. And now we got to see how the final alignment looks. So I guess the leader they expected to rise up isn't who they expected. I hope that made sense, because I love you all. And until next time, Godspeed and God bless Justice Night.